Hey, Meeple people, how's it going? Today we want to go ahead and talk to you about a New Year's goal. Not so much a resolution, but a goal that we have for our board gaming and games that we have for 2022. And I'm going to go ahead and peel you off to Sarah so she can kind of talk about what we did in like in our game room so far and our plan heading into 2022 for our board games.
So, we wanted to get a better handle on all of the games that are in this room, and we wanted to better understand how much of our collection we've actually experienced and how much we haven't. So, what we did was we checked that every single game in this room that is able to be put on BGG is on BGG. And we had missed a few over the course of time. So there were a few games that were in our collection. One of them's been in our collection for like least 5 years and wasn't on BGG. So we made sure that every game in this room is actually on our BGG list. And then we made sure that every game that is on our BGG list is in this room in case we'd gotten rid of something and forgotten to take it off BGG. And there were a few there that had needed to be removed from BGG, and we had missed that when we got rid of that game. So that was the first thing we did. We have a total of 901 games in this room. Now, that doesn't count expansions, but it does count 30 games which are not on BGG. These are historical peg games that we collect, and they don't have BGG listings. So there are 30 games in the room that I'm sort of leaving out when I talk about this, but we have 871 hobby games in this room. And we wanted to know of those, what's like the percentage of games we haven't actually played. So what we did was we made sure, like I said, that all the games in this room are on BGG and all the games on BGG are actually in this room. And then we counted up all the games that are in this room that we have never played. And we were really interested to see how much that would be. I thought, just kind of based on like looking around, that it was going to be a really, really high percentage, and it was going to be like almost embarrassing to know how many games we own and have just never ever played. But when we added it up, it wasn't too bad. Our percentage of games unplayed was 22.73%. So almost 23% of the games in this room we have not played. Which, when you actually figure out the numbers for that, that means that we have not played 198 of our games, which is a huge number, but 23% doesn't feel too bad.
Don't judge us.
So if you think about that, that's like 1 in every 5 or 1 in every 4 games in the room we haven't played, but that means that we have played 3 in every 4 or 4 in every 5. So I was pretty pleased with that. We had said that we were going to, we were, with a few caveats, we were not going to purchase new games until we figured out how much of our collection was unplayed and then reduced that by at least some. And so when we figured out that 23% of our collection is unplayed, we decided to attempt to reduce that by half. So that means that we are going to attempt to play about 100 games before we buy any new games. And what we mean by this is we're attempting to play them at least once. And we are going to try to do that before we purchase new games, unless there are new games or new games to us that we've already been looking for a very, very long time. So I'm not going to pass up on an opportunity to get something that I know that I really, really want if that opportunity becomes available. And it also doesn't account for games that Nick is going to acquire for his YouTube channel. And it doesn't include games that we feel like we have a very unique opportunity to acquire. So that's going to be things like some Kickstarter games. If we go to a game store and there's like a unique game that we've, maybe never seen before, or it's rare to us, or that kind of thing, and we're interested in getting it. Those games we're not going to exclude those because it's going to be difficult to get a hold of those again in the future, right? So we said we'll allow ourselves to buy those types of things, but we can't just like go to the game store and buy like a hot new thing, or we can't just go to the game store and be like, oh, this one's on sale, we'll grab that. We can't do any of that until we've reduced our unplayed games by about half, which, like I said, is we got to play about 100 games. before we can buy new ones. So that's really exciting. And we are looking forward to trying the 100 games, whichever they happen to be. And yeah, it's cool. What do you think, Nick?
So with our let's see, with what we did with our unplayed games and kind of figuring it out, uh, it was interesting. I thought we didn't play 70% of our room, and I think Sarah thought 65%. But but yeah, I was very very relieved. I was like, my heart was pounding when Sarah was doing the numbers. I'm like, oh my gosh, how many games have we not played? But then when we found out it was 22%, I was like, whew, 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 because I really thought it was a lot bigger, and I thought it was going to be a lot worse of a situation where we're going to be like, oh, we gotta play all these games. I know, so torturous, right? But I thought it was going to just be more of a daunting task because we really want to make sure all the games that we own have been played and we have some knowledge of them, and whether we want to keep them in our collection or not keep them in our collection.
I have a
So
suspicion that there's going to be probably quite a few that we play one time and we kind of out it goes. I am a bit of a collector. And one of the things that I've collected over time has been a lot of Catan licensed stuff. So I have tons of Catan games and games set in the Catan universe and expansions and blah 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 blah. And honestly, some of them just aren't that good as a game. And I'm not really willing to keep that kind of stuff around just because I collect things. I want to collect things that are of quality and things that are worth collecting. So there are at least 3 Catan games. It is Elisund, the First City, Merchants of Europe, and Candemir, the First Settlers, which are all older Catan titles, sort of set in like the Catan universe that I suspect are probably not that great. And I sort of just like happened to add them to the collection because I love Catan and I was at a point I was like collecting Catan stuff. But I suspect that we're gonna play those once and be like, okay, well that can make its way out of the collection. Maybe not, but I suspect that games like that are gonna end up leaving our collection after we do play them. And I'm looking forward to potentially reducing not just our total collection, but reducing our unplayed games so we know what is in our collection and how much of our collection we genuinely enjoy, and that kind of stuff. So I'm looking forward to this coming year's experiences. Is there a particular game, Nick, that you think that either might leave our collection after we play it just once, or a game that you're like excited to try?
I'm not quite sure. There are some games as I look around that I'm interested in trying, but also I guarantee there will be games I'm interested in trying, and then we'll play and be like, this can go. I don't like this at all. And then I'm more interested in the games that I'm not sure about or don't know anything about, and find out that, whoa, I really like this one. What's more? Who designed this and what publisher? I think that's going to be a very interesting thing to discover. I'm just basically really excited about the discovery of this game, of what we're doing.
Wouldn't it be both amazing and annoying if like my all-time favorite game is somewhere in this room and has been for like years and I've just never played it?
That would be, yes, it would. Yes, it will. Well, that's our plan for 2022 for our game room and all the games that we have in this room, because we're probably going to reorganize after we start getting rid of a bunch, and we already have some holes in our game room, and it's like, but it's constantly evolving and changing, and that's an exciting thing in our hobby, and we are glad it doesn't get dull.
Yeah.
So
we actually did a kind of a light purge before we calculated. We ran all the numbers again. We did like a light purge, pulled stuff off the shelves, and decided to get some stuff out of here. And we'll continue. We always try to continue to like trim down as we go with everything in our lives, not just our games. But it's hard with our games because we just love them. So many pretty boxes filled with so many amazing things, and it's not always easy to just get rid of them. But I'm looking forward to continuing to slim our collection down to things that we know that we like, things that we don't have to learn because we've never played it or we pulled it off the shelf once like 2 years ago. We've forgotten how to play. I'm excited to just sort of experience our collection more deeply. And yeah, I think it's going to be really cool.
All right, so that's what we're doing for 2022. What are you doing for 2022? Do you have any kind of gaming resolutions or goals per se for your collection, or something to acquire, or something to play more of? Maybe there's a certain type of game that you kind of don't want to play, but you're like, maybe I'll branch out a little bit and maybe like that more, or be like, no, I was right. I definitely don't like that and don't want to do it. So just let us know in the comments, and we hope you all enjoyed this little snippet. And yeah, we'll see you all next time. Oh, do you have? Do you have something?
I was thinking, if our viewers are on BGG and you would like to, you should look up our collection. My username is Sarah M. Traeger. That's all one word, SarahMTrager. Look at our collection and tell us if there's anything in there that you think is like just straight garbage. We don't even need to play it. We can just throw it in the garbage right now. Or a game that you think is a really, really good game. And you think we definitely shouldn't miss that one. If you're interested in doing that, I would love to know what in our collection you already have some experience with. Now, like I said, we have played a lot more in our collection than we previously thought. So it may be a game that we're already aware of and know whether or not we love it, or at least like it enough to keep it in the collection. But there's also a good chance that it might be something that we don't know anything at all about. And I would like to, with 200 games to play, having some pointers on where to start or what to avoid would be, or maybe what to get out of the way first would be interesting.
All right, well, I'll try to put all that in the description of this video so you all can go look at our collection and give us recommendations. But yeah, so.
Oh, also, our trades list is on there as well. So when we do a purge, we put everything that we're purging on our trades list if we don't already have a trade in mind or someone we want to give it to or whatever. So our trades list is on there, and I think there's like, I don't know, maybe 60, 75 titles on there right now. If there's something that you see that you'd like, let us know.
Alrighty then. Well, let's try this one more time. So yeah, if you guys aren't subscribed already, get subscribed, because we're coming out with a bunch of content. Hopefully a lot more this year than the previous year, and a lot of interesting content. So without further ado, we'll see y'all next time. Toodles!